The big room of the Galactic Council fell silent as Ambassador Do-hyun stepped forward. His face showed no emotion, though he was the first human to ever stand before the gathered alien species from across the universe. "We come in peace," Do-hyun said, the translator changing his words so all aliens could understand. "Earth wants only friendship and knowledge." From the dark upper area of the room, High Commander Rax of the Vakrid Imperium made a scoffing sound. The bug-like alien's mouth, parts clicked in what meant laughter to his kind. The humans, soft, weak creatures from an unimportant planet, had somehow created faster-than-light travel hundreds of years before the Vakrid thought possible. This was strange. This was a threat. "The Council welcomes Earth," said Mediator, Clocks, the jelly-like being who had kept peace between species for thousands of years. "But we worry about your history of fighting among yourselves." Do-hyun nodded, having expected this concern. "We do not hide our past. Humans have fought each other, yes. We have made big mistakes. But we have learned from them." In the watching area above the main chamber, Lieutenant Ji-ho stood alert. As security chief for the Earth Group, he had studied every known alien species and remembered every possible danger. His hand stayed close to his hidden gun, a safety measure his leaders had reluctantly allowed. "Earth's technology growth is troubling," High Commander Rax interrupted, standing from his seat. "No species has gone from simple engines to gravity control in just 300 years. "We adapt quickly," Do-hyun replied simply. "You are dangerous," Rax said back. "The Vakrid suggest Earth be watched for at least 50 time cycles before joining us further." Do-hyun stayed calm. "We respect the Council's rules." But Ji-ho noticed what others missed: the careful positioning of Vakrid guards near all exits, the unusual number of weapon scanners aimed at the human group, the slight darkening of lights in areas where Vakrid soldiers could move without being seen. "Something is wrong," Ji-ho whispered into his communicator. "Admiral, I think the Vakrid are planning something bad." Before Admiral Sunwoo could answer, the chamber's doors closed with a hissing sound. "The Vakrid Imperium has changed its position," Rax announced. Mouth parts spread wide in what humans would later learn was a threat display. "Earth is an unacceptable risk. For the safety of galactic civilization, the human problem must be solved. Permanently." Do-hyun's eyes widened as Vakrid soldiers came out from hidden spaces, weapons drawn. "This breaks Council law," he protested. "We came without weapons to this neutral place." "A mistake," Rax clicked, raising a limb to signal his troops. "The first of many your species will not live to make again." The chamber erupted in chaos as Council members ran from their seats. Ji-ho moved quickly, pulling Do-hyun behind a pillar as energy weapons fired around them. "Admiral Sunwoo," Ji-ho shouted into his communicator as weapon fire burned the wall beside him. "The Vakrid have attacked our delegation. Request immediate rescue and—" He paused, looking at Do-hyun for confirmation. The ambassador's face hardened as he nodded. "Tell her," Ji-ho swallowed. "Start Protocol Omega. The Vakrid have declared war on humanity." On the Earthship in orbit, Admiral Sunwoo stood perfectly still as she received the message. Her face showed nothing, but her mind raced through plans and possibilities. "Send the rescue team now," she ordered, "and prepare the ship for battle." Her second-in-command, Commander Ha-jun, looked worried. "Admiral, there are 3 Vakrid battleships approaching our position. We are just one ship." "Then we will be one very busy ship," Sunwoo replied. "The Vakrid think humans are weak because we fought among ourselves. They do not understand that this made us very good at fighting." As the rescue shuttle raced toward the Council building, Ji-ho fired his small weapon at the approaching Vakrid soldiers. The energy bolts did little against their thick armor, but kept them from advancing too quickly. "Ambassador, we need to reach the east exit," Ji-ho said between shots. "The rescue team will meet us there in 4 minutes." Do-hyun nodded grimly. "I never thought our first meeting with the galactic community would end like this." "It is not ending, sir," Ji-ho replied. "It is just beginning." They moved carefully from pillar to pillar, avoiding the main firefight. Other species were caught. In the chaos, some trying to help the humans, others simply trying to escape. A small, furry alien approached them, its 6 eyes blinking rapidly. "Humans, follow. Safe path." Jiho hesitated, his weapon half raised. "The Mikari are friends," Do-hyun whispered. "We helped them with medical supplies last year." Following their small guide, they reached a service corridor that led toward the east exit. Behind them, the sounds of fighting grew louder as Earth security forces engaged the Vekrid soldiers. "Why attack us so openly?" Jiho wondered aloud. "The Council will punish them for this." "The Council has no real power," Do-hyun replied sadly. "And the Vekrid fear us. Our rapid growth threatens their position." They reached the exit just as the rescue shuttle landed. Earth Marines in combat armor poured out, creating a defensive perimeter. "Ambassador, Lieutenant, this way," shouted the team leader. As they ran toward the shuttle, a Vekrid energy blast hit the ground near Jiho, throwing him forward. He felt a sharp pain in his leg but kept moving. Inside the shuttle, medics quickly attended to their wounds as the craft lifted, off accelerating hard toward the safety of the Earthship. 5 dead, the team leader reported grimly. 7 wounded, including you 2. Do-hyun closed his eyes briefly. "The first human casualties in an interstellar war." "Admiral Sunwoo is waiting to speak with you, sir," said one of the Marines. Handing Do-hyun a communication device, the Admiral's face appeared on the small screen. "Ambassador, are you injured?" "Nothing serious," Do-hyun replied. "But the situation is grave. The Vekrid planned this attack from the beginning. They see our species as a threat to their power." Sunwoo nodded. "Then we will show them they were right to fear us. The Earth Defense Fleet has been alerted. All colonies are preparing for possible attack." "The Vekrid do not understand humans," Do-hyun said. "They think our history of war makes us primitive. They will learn," Sunwoo replied, her voice cold. "Humans do not start wars, Ambassador, but we finish them." As the shuttle docked with the Earthship, Jiho looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Vekrid were gathering, their forces preparing to destroy humanity. They had no idea what they had just started. The Vekrid had studied human history and seen only the violence. They had missed the most important lesson. Humans had survived every disaster, every war, every challenge by adapting and becoming stronger. Back on the Council station, High Commander Rax watched the Earth shuttle escape. His soldiers had failed to capture or kill the human delegation. "Track their ship," he ordered his second-in-command. "They will flee to their homeworld." "Is this wise, High Commander?" the officer asked. "Starting a war with an unknown species?" "The humans are a threat to the natural order," Rax replied. "Their rapid advancement defies all patterns. They must be contained before they grow stronger." "But sir, their history suggests they are very good at war." Rax made a clicking sound of dismissal. "They have never faced the Vekrid Imperium. In 12,000 cycles, we have conquered 100 worlds. The humans will be no different." Board the Earthship, now accelerating away from the Council station, Jiho was brought to the bridge after the medical team treated his leg. "Lieutenant," Admiral Sunwoo greeted him, "your warning saved many lives." "Not enough," Jiho replied, thinking of the 5 dead humans. "The first casualties, but not the last," Sunwoo said. "The Vekrid have made a serious miscalculation. They think we are weak because we have fought among ourselves," Jiho noted. Sunwoo nodded. "A common mistake. They do not understand that fighting ourselves has made us expert warriors. Every weapon we have, every tactic we know, was developed to use against the most dangerous opponent in the galaxy." "Other humans," Jiho realized. "Exactly," the Admiral replied. "The Vekrid have never fought a species that evolved by constantly testing itself against equals. They have only conquered weaker races." Ambassador Do-hyun joined them on the bridge, his arm now bandaged. "We must prepare Earth for war," he said. "The Vekrid will not stop until they have eliminated what they see as a threat to their power, or until they realize that they have awakened something far more dangerous than they imagined," Sunwoo replied. "Humans have been fighting each other for thousands of years. We have become very good at it." As the Earthship jumped to faster than light, speed, heading home to prepare for the coming conflict, Jiho thought about what had just happened. The Vekrid had studied human history, seen our wars and violence, and decided we were dangerous. What they did not understand was that those wars had forged humanity into something unique, a species that had nearly destroyed itself countless times but always survived, always adapted, always came back stronger. They only declared war on the most lethal species alive, Jiho said quietly. Poor fools. Admiral Sunwoo stood still on the bridge of the EFS Intrepid, Earth's best warship. Her face showed no emotion, but her mind worked quickly on plans and strategies. Rescue team reports 5 dead, said her second-in-command, Commander Hajun. Ambassador Do-hyun and Lieutenant Jiho are safe but hurt. Sunwoo nodded once. And the Vekrid? Their ships have moved into attack position. 3 big ships, 17 medium ships, and many small vessels. The bridge crew watched their admiral in nervous silence. Most were young and had never seen real battle. Earth had been peaceful for many years, its military kept ready just in case, until now. The rescue shuttle has docked, Hajun continued. Ambassador Do-hyun wants to speak with you right away. Connect him, Sunwoo ordered, turning to the main screen. Do-hyun's face appeared, with a burn mark on his left cheek. Admiral, the Vekrid commander made his plans very clear. They want to destroy our entire species. I understand, Sunwoo replied. Earth's leaders are meeting now. They are waiting for our report. Tell them. Do-hyun's voice caught. Tell them there is no peaceful solution here. The Vekrid used the council meeting to look for our weaknesses. They think we will be easy to defeat. Sunwoo's expression did not change, but her eyes grew harder. What do you recommend, Ambassador? Survive, then make them sorry they misjudged us. After the ambassador's image disappeared, Sunwoo turned to her weapons officer. Is the new system ready? The Nova system works, but has never been tested in real battle, replied Lieutenant Min. Tests give it a 78% chance of success. And our normal weapons? Min hesitated. The Vekrid have 6 ships for every one of ours, Admiral. Their technology is similar to ours in most ways, better in some. But not all, Sunwoo noted. No, Admiral. Our neural interface systems and adaptive programs are more advanced. Sunwoo finally allowed herself a small, grim smile. Then we have something they do not expect. Humans have been fighting each other for thousands of years. It has made us very, very good at it. She turned to her communications officer. Send to all Earth ships, start Plan Hephaestus. Highest priority. Hajun's eyes widened. Admiral, Plan Hephaestus has never been tested. It has now, Sunwoo replied, sitting in her command chair. Navigation. Set course for the Tannhauser Gateway. We need to reach Earth space before the Vekrid fleet. As the Intrepid's engines lit up, the massive Vekrid warships began to follow. They are sending out fighter ships, Min reported. Small attack craft coming at us fast. Let them come, Sunwoo said calmly. Weapons, deploy countermeasures. Show them what happens when you attack Earth. The space around the Intrepid filled with bright flashes as the ship's defense grid activated, each blast destroying Vekrid fighters with perfect accuracy. In the medical bay, Jiho watched the battle on a small screen. Despite his injuries, he found himself smiling. The Vekrid had studied human history, seen the wars and violence, and decided that humans were dangerous. What they failed to understand was that humans were not just dangerous, they were survivors. Every conflict, every near-extinction event, throughout their bloody history had only made them more resilient, more clever, more determined. They have no idea what they have started, Jiho whispered as he watched a Vekrid ship break apart under the Intrepid's attack. On the bridge, Sunwoo received a transmission from Earth. The defense fleet is mobilizing, said Defense Minister. So, all colonies have been warned. How long until the Vekrid reach Earth? 5 days at their current speed, Sunwoo replied. Minister, we need to activate the Ghost Squadron. SEO looked troubled. The Neural Link fighters, they are still experimental. So were the Vekrid's chances of defeating us, Sunwoo replied. And that experiment is already failing. The minister nodded slowly. Approved. I will inform President Yunji. As the transmission ended, Sunwoo turned to Ha-jun. Status of the Vecrid pursuit? 3 of their light cruisers damaged by our rear defenses, he reported. But the main force is still following. They seem confused by our tactics. Good, Sunwoo said. Confusion leads to mistakes. The Intrepid shook as a Vecrid energy blast struck its shields. Shields at 87%, Min reported calmly. Their weapons are powerful but predictable. Sunwoo nodded. They fight like they have never faced a real enemy. Their battle formations are too fixed, too by the book. The Vecrid have conquered many worlds, Ha-jun noted. But most were peaceful species with little military capability. And now they face humans, Sunwoo replied. A species that has been trying to destroy itself for thousands of years. And failing. On the Vecrid command ship, High Commander Rax watched the human vessel with growing frustration. Why do they not follow standard evasive patterns, he demanded, his mandibles clicking in agitation. Their defense grid fires in seemingly random sequences, yet it hits our fighters with perfect accuracy. Sub-Commander Virax approached carefully. High Commander, our tacticians believe the humans are using some form of adaptive targeting system. It learns from each engagement. Impossible, Rax hissed. Such technology is theoretical at best. Nevertheless, Virax continued, we have lost 23 fighters and 3 light cruisers, while their ship shows minimal damage. Rax's compound, eyes narrowed. Deploy the pulse cannons. Let us see how their adaptive systems handle a technology they have never encountered. Back on the Intrepid, Lieutenant Min's console beeped urgently. Admiral, the Vecrid flagship is charging some kind of weapon we have not seen before, he reported. Energy signatures do not match any known Vecrid technology. Sunwoo did not hesitate. Evasive pattern Delta. Prepare Nova countermeasures. The massive Earth ship suddenly changed course, diving downward relative to the plane of battle. As it did, the Vecrid flagship fired a pulsing beam of golden energy. Incoming, Ha-jun shouted. The beam grazed the Intrepid's port side, sending power failures through that section of the ship. Damage report, Sunwoo ordered, her voice steady despite the bridge lights flickering. Port shield generators offline, Min reported. Decks 7 through 12 reporting power problems, 2 minor injuries. He looked up with surprise. That is all. The weapon seems designed to disable rather than destroy. They want our ship intact, Sunwoo realized. They want our technology. She turned to the navigation officer. Change course to Vector 937, full power to the quantum drive. Admiral, Ha-jun said quietly, leaning closer to her chair. That course takes us directly through the Ceres debris field. The quantum drive has never been tested in such conditions. Sunwoo's lips curved into a cold smile. The Vecrid do not know that. As the Intrepid changed course, the pursuing Vecrid fleet followed, their rigid battle formation maintaining perfect spacing despite the hazardous new route. They are still following, Ha-jun reported. Maintaining their formation even as they enter the debris field. As I expected, Sunwoo nodded. Their battle doctrine values order over adaptability. Lieutenant Min, arm maneuvering mines. Deploy on my mark. The Intrepid weaved through the ancient debris field, remnants of a planetary collision billions of years ago. The Earthship moved like a living thing, responding to the debris with almost intuitive grace. Behind them, the Vecrid ships maintained their perfect formation, adjusting as a unit rather than as individual vessels. Mark, Sunwoo ordered calmly. The Intrepid released dozens of small dark objects that blended perfectly with the surrounding debris. Then the Earthship suddenly accelerated, its quantum drive flaring brightly. The Vecrid are still in pursuit, Ha-jun reported. They will reach the minefield in 3, 2, 1. Space lit up behind them as the mines exploded, sending shock waves and new debris through the Vecrid formation. Unable to adapt quickly enough, 3 of their medium ships collided with large debris chunks, while a 4th spun out of control, its propulsion systems damaged. Direct hit on 4 enemy vessels, Min reported, unable to keep a note of satisfaction from his voice. Their formation is breaking up. Sun Wu nodded. Good. Now they will begin to understand what they are facing. She turned to the communications officer. Send a message to Earth. Tell them we are coming home with guests. As the Intrepid raced toward Earth, the damaged but still dangerous Vekrid fleet followed, unaware that they were being led exactly where the humans wanted them to go. Didio, Medical Bay Jiho was visited by Ambassador Do Hyun, whose arm was now in a sling. How are you feeling, Lieutenant? The ambassador asked. Better than the Vekrid fleet, Jiho replied with a slight smile. Admiral Sun Wu is leading them into a trap, Do Hyun nodded. The Vekrid made a critical mistake. They studied our history and saw only primitive violence. They failed to understand that our conflicts forced us to innovate, to adapt, to overcome impossible odds. And now they will learn firsthand, Jiho said. Yes, Do Hyun agreed. They declared war on the most lethal species alive, and soon they will understand exactly what that means. 3 weeks after the attack at the Council, Earth's orbital defense platforms stood ready. The home fleet, quickly put together from military ships, research vessels, and converted civilian craft, formed a protective sphere around humanity's home planet. In a secure underground room beneath Seoul, Earth's emergency defense leaders gathered around a glowing display showing the approaching Vekrid armada. Their main force will arrive within 18 hours, Director Jae-sung of Earth Intelligence said. 96 capital ships, over 300 support vessels. President Yoon-ji nodded grimly. And our preparations? Operation Hephaestus is at 93% completion, replied General Tae-won, his weathered face lit by the red glow from the display. The automated defense systems are working, and the Nova platforms are in position. Yoon-ji turned to the oldest person in the room, Dr. Hyun-ki, head of the Advanced Weapons Division. Will it be enough? The elderly scientist adjusted his glasses. Madam President, when the Defense Initiative was formed 50 years ago, many called it unnecessary. They questioned why we kept developing weapons when Earth was united and peaceful. He smiled slightly. I believe we are about to answer that question. From his place at the tactical console, Captain Sang-min cleared his throat. We have decoded parts of the Vekrid battle communications. They are confident. Of course they are, Jae-sung replied. They think they are facing a technologically advanced but militarily inexperienced species. Their researchers have studied our history, Tae-won added. They know we have fought countless wars among ourselves. What they do not understand, Hyun-ki said, is that those wars drove innovation like nothing else. Every conflict pushed us to develop better technologies, better strategies. The president nodded. And they have no idea about Project Ghost? None, confirmed Jae-sung. The Neuralink fighter squadron remains our most closely guarded secret. High above Earth in a special space station, Wing Commander Yoo-jin floated in a neural immersion tank. Around her, 23 other pilots, the best Earth had to offer, were similarly suspended, their minds linked directly to their craft. Unlike normal fighters, the Ghost Squadron ships had no physical pilots. Each sleek black ship was controlled directly by human thought. The pilot's brain patterns transmitted instantly through quantum connections. No light-speed delay, no physical limitations, just pure human instinct and reaction time, unleashed at the speed of thought. Ghost Squadron, Yoo-jin said through the neural link, her words carried to her team. Final systems check. One by one, the pilots confirmed they were ready, their thoughts flowing through the network with perfect clarity. Remember, Yoo-jin continued, the Vekrid have never faced neural-linked fighters. Their tracking systems are designed for normal craft with normal pilots. She allowed herself a small smile. Let us show them how humans fight when we remove our physical limitations. As the first wave of Vekrid ships appeared from hyperspace, Earth's defenders moved into position. The massive alien vessels, shaped like long hexagons with protruding weapon arrays, formed a precise attack formation. In the command center, Sang-min monitored the incoming transmission. They are broadcasting on all frequencies, Madam President, audio and visual. Let us hear it, Yunji ordered. The main screen flickered to life, showing the mandible-lined face of High Commander Rax. Humans of Earth, the translation began. Your isolation in this part of the galaxy has left you ignorant of cosmic realities. The Vekrid Imperium has ruled for 12,000 cycles. 100 species have fallen before us. Your resistance is a formality, one we will respect by offering you the opportunity to witness your inevitable defeat. Yunji's expression remained neutral. Are we responding? General Taewan shook his head. Not yet. Let them think their psychological tactics are working. On the screen, Rax continued. Your species' rapid advancement represents an unacceptable anomaly. The natural order dictates that such evolutionary accidents be corrected. As the alien continued its speech, Yujin and Ghost Squadron silently launched, their quantum state fighters invisible to normal sensors. Now, Yujin thought to her squadron, let us show them what humans do to bullies. The Vekrid never saw Ghost Squadron coming. Their first warning was when 3 of their destroyers suddenly lost propulsion, drifting helplessly as precise strikes cut their engine cores without causing secondary explosions. Impossible, hissed Sub-Commander Virax on the Vekrid flagship. Our sensors detect nothing. High Commander Rax's compound eyes narrowed. Scan all spectrums. Find those ships. But the human fighters moved faster than the Vekrid tracking systems could process, neural-linked pilots making adjustments at the speed of thought rather than the speed of physical reflexes. In the Sol bunker, President Yunji watched the battle unfold with controlled emotion. They expected us to be easy prey, she observed. They have never fought humans before. Humans are the only known intelligent species to evolve as persistence predators, Dr. Hyun-Ki noted. Most galactic civilizations evolved from ambush predators, or herd prey. Their entire psychology is different. On the tactical display, 2 Vekrid cruisers collided as they tried to evade Ghost Squadron's assault, their rigid battle formations breaking down in confusion. Their command structure is too rigid, General Taewan added. They expect orders and obey without thinking for themselves. We trained our people to think independently. Captain Sangmin's console beeped. Madam President, Admiral Sun Woo reports. The intrepid battle group has completed its flanking maneuver. They are in position behind the Vekrid fleet. Yunji nodded. Begin Operation Hephaestus. Across Earth's solar system, automated defense platforms that had lain dormant suddenly activated. Asteroid mining equipment repurposed as kinetic weapons began accelerating chunks of space rock toward precise coordinates. Civilian research satellites revealed hidden weapon systems. The trap was sprung. Caught between the Intrepid's battle group and Earth's defenses, the Vekrid fleet found itself in a crossfire. Ghost Squadron continued its hit-and-run attacks, systematically disabling the aliens' most powerful weapons. They are transmitting again, Sangmin reported. Rax's image appeared, his mandibles twitching in what humans now recognized as agitation. This deception violates the principles of honorable combat. Your hidden weapons, mute him, Yunji ordered calmly, and prepare our response. When the transmission resumed, it showed only President Yunji, her expression calm, yet firm. High Commander Rax, she began, you came to our home with the intention of genocide. You judged us by our past conflicts and decided we were dangerous. On that point, you were correct. She leaned forward slightly. Humanity has fought itself for thousands of years. Every weapon you face today was designed to be used against other humans. We perfected the art of war by practicing on ourselves, the most dangerous prey of all. In the silence that followed, Ghost Squadron disabled the Vekrid flagship's main weapons array with surgical precision. We are offering you one opportunity, Yunji continued. Withdraw your forces, return to Vekrid space, and we will not pursue. This mercy is not offered from weakness, but because despite our violent history, humans have learned that peace is preferable to war. She paused, her eyes hard. But make no mistake, Commander Rax. If you force us to demonstrate the full extent of human military capability, there will be nothing left of your fleet but debris and a warning to others. The transmission ended. In the neural immersion tank, Yujin directed her squadron to pull back, positioning them for a final, devastating attack run if necessary. "What do you think they will do?" asked one of her pilots through the link. "They will retreat," Yujin replied confidently. "They are logical beings, and the logical choice when facing a superior force is to withdraw." "Superior?" another pilot questioned. "They still outnumber us." "Numbers are not everything," Yujin thought, watching as the Vekrid ships began to regroup. "They are fighting because they were ordered to. We are fighting for our home." On the Vekrid flagship, Rax faced a decision unlike any in his long military career. The humans had technologies the Imperium had never encountered, tactics that defied conventional strategy. Worst of all, they seemed to be holding back, deliberately avoiding maximum casualties. "Your orders, High Commander?" Sub-Commander Virax asked. Rax's mandibles clicked slowly as he contemplated the unthinkable. "Retreat. The humans employ technologies we cannot counter," he finally said. "Their neural link fighters bypass our tracking systems. Their adaptive defenses learn from each engagement." "But the Imperium has never retreated," Virax protested. "In 12,000 cycles we have always—" "And in 12,000 cycles," Rax interrupted, "we have never faced a species like this." He turned to his communication officer. "Signal the fleet. We withdraw to minimum safe distance and await reinforcements." As the Vekrid ships began to pull back, cheers erupted across Earth's defense network. In the Sol bunker, however, the leaders remained solemn. "They will return," General Tae-wan said, "with a larger force." President Yoon-ji nodded. "And we will be ready." The Vekrid made a fundamental error in their assessment of humanity. "Which was?" asked Captain Sang-min. Dr. Hyun-ki smiled sadly. "They thought our history of violence made us primitive. They failed to understand that it made us the most dangerous." 2 days after the Vekrid retreat, Admiral Sun-woo stood in Earth's Central Defense Command Center. Around her, military leaders from every nation studied detailed maps of Vekrid space. "They will return with a larger fleet," Sun-woo said. "Our intelligence suggests they are gathering forces from across their empire." President Yoon-ji nodded. "How long do we have?" 2 weeks, maybe 3, replied Director Jae-sung. "They underestimated us once. They will not make that mistake again." "General." Tae-wan pointed to a star system near the edge of Vekrid territory. "This is Corvus, their main shipyard and supply center. If we strike here, we could delay their counterattack by months." "You want to take the fight to them," Yoon-ji said. It was not a question. "The best defense is a good offense," Tae-wan replied. Simply. "Humans learned that lesson centuries ago." Sun-woo studied the map. "Corvus is heavily defended. We would need a distraction." From the back of the room, Ambassador Do-hyun spoke up. His face still showed the scar from the council attack. "I may have a solution. Several species conquered by the Vekrid have contacted me secretly. They view our resistance as an opportunity." Yoon-ji raised an eyebrow. "You suggest an alliance?" "I suggest a coordinated rebellion," Do-hyun clarified. "While we strike at Corvus, the suppressed worlds could rise up. The Vekrid would be forced to split their forces." The room fell silent as the leaders considered this plan. "It could work," Sun-woo finally said. "But we would need something special for the Corvus attack. Something they have never seen before." Dr. Hyun-ki, who had been quietly listening, stepped forward. "I believe the time has come to deploy the Nova system at full capacity." All eyes turned to the elderly scientist. "The tests were successful," he continued. "The quantum disruption field can disable their ships without destroying them. No loss of life unless absolutely necessary." President Yoon-ji considered this. "You believe we can win without destroying them?" "I believe we must try," Hyun-ki replied. "If we fight only to destroy, we become what they fear we are." The president nodded slowly. "Very well, begin preparations. I want this operation ready in 10 days. As the meeting ended, Sun-woo approached Do-hyun. "Ambassador, these alien contacts of yours, can they be trusted?" They have suffered under Vekrid rule for generations, he replied. Their trust is born of desperation. Sun Wu nodded. Desperation makes for motivated allies, if not always reliable ones. Over the next week, Earth prepared. The Intrepid led a battle group of 15 warships, each equipped with the experimental Nova system. Ghost Squadron expanded to 40 neural-linked fighters, with Commander Yujin overseeing the training of new pilots. Lieutenant Jiho, now recovered from his wounds, was assigned to coordinate with the rebel alien factions. From a secure communication center, he spoke with beings from worlds he had never heard of before. The Vekrid have ruled through fear for thousands of years, explained a Zentari representative, its translucent skin pulsing with each word. Many species will join your cause, but only if you demonstrate real power first. Then we will give them a demonstration, Jiho promised. On the day of the attack, the Earth fleet gathered at the edge of the solar system. The ships were smaller than the massive Vekrid vessels, but each carried technology that had never been used in warfare before. Admiral Sun Wu addressed the combined crews from the bridge of the Intrepid. Today we take the fight to the enemy, she said, her calm voice reaching every ship. Not for vengeance, but for security. Not for conquest, but for freedom, both ours and that of other species trapped under Vekrid rule. She paused, looking at the expectant faces on her view screen. The Vekrid believe their superiority comes from their age, their 12,000 cycles of history. Today we will show them that humanity's strength comes not from how long we have existed, but from how much we have overcome. The Earth fleet jumped to light speed, vanishing from the solar system. Hours later, they emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Corvus system. Before them lay the massive Vekrid shipyards, orbital facilities stretching for thousands of kilometers around a red giant star. No alarm yet, reported Lieutenant Min from his tactical station. Their outer sensor grid has not detected us. Sun Wu nodded. Deploy Ghost Squadron. Target their sensor relays first, then communication hubs. Yujin led her neural-linked fighters toward the shipyards, their vessels nearly invisible to conventional scanners. Each pilot's consciousness existed partly in their own body and partly in their ship, creating reaction times impossible for any physical being. Approaching primary targets, Yujin thought to her squadron. Weapons-hot precision protocol. The first the Vekrid knew of the attack was when their sensor stations began going dark, one by one. By the time they realized what was happening, Ghost Squadron had already disabled their main communication array. Phase 1 complete, Yujin reported back to the Intrepid. Minimal resistance encountered. Sun Wu turned to her executive officer. Begin Phase 2. All ships advance to engagement positions. The Earth fleet moved forward, forming a precise sphere around the main shipyard. As they approached, Vekrid defense vessels scrambled to respond, but their movements were uncoordinated, their commanders unable to communicate effectively with each other. They are forming into standard defense groups, Min reported, just as we predicted. Prepare Nova system, Sun Wu ordered. Target their propulsion and weapons only. Throughout the fleet, the experimental system powered up. Based on quantum field manipulation, the Nova system could temporarily disrupt the atomic bonds in specific materials, particularly those used in Vekrid technology. Nova system at full charge, Min announced. Ready on your command. Sun Wu took a deep breath. Fire. From every Earth ship, invisible quantum fields expanded outward. Where they touched Vekrid vessels, engines suddenly died. Weapon systems went offline. Life support remained functional, but the ships themselves became dead in space. 67% of Vekrid vessels neutralized, Min reported, his voice betraying his amazement. No casualties detected. Phase 3, Sun Wu ordered. Broadcast, the message. On every remaining functional Vekrid ship, screens lit up with the image of President Yunji. To the Vekrid Imperium, she began. This demonstration of human capability is not intended as an act of war, but as proof of our resolve. We have disabled your ships without destroying them. We have preserved your lives while removing your ability to threaten others. She paused, her expression firm but not cruel. Across your empire, Species you have subjugated are rising up even now. Your grip on this galaxy is ending. You have a choice. Adapt to a new reality where you exist alongside other species as equals, or continue this conflict and face extinction. As the message played, Jiho received transmissions from across Vecrid space. The coordinated rebellion had begun, with suppressed species overthrowing their Vecrid overlords on a dozen worlds. "It is working," he reported to Sunwoo. "The Zentari have taken control of 3 systems already. The Mikari have disabled the Vecrid fleet in their sector." Sunwoo nodded. "And here?" A Vecrid transmission came through. The face that appeared was not High Commander Rax, but an older Vecrid, its carapace bearing the marks of great age. "I am Supreme Leader Vox of the Vecrid High Council," the alien said. "Your attack on Corvus demonstrates capabilities we did not believe possible. We request dialogue." Sunwoo allowed herself a small smile. "Supreme Leader, we accept your request, but understand this is not a negotiation for our survival. It is for yours." As the Earth fleet maintained its position around the disabled Vecrid shipyards, news of the human victory spread across the galaxy. Species that had lived in fear of the Vecrid for millennia suddenly saw hope. In his quarters aboard the Intrepid, Jiho reviewed the messages from the Zentari leader. "The humans have done what no species has accomplished in 12,000 cycles," the alien said. "They have broken the myth of Vecrid invincibility. The galaxy will never be the same." Jiho thought about this. The Vecrid had attacked Earth because they feared human potential. In doing so, they had created exactly the threat they had sought to eliminate. Never start a fight with someone who has spent their entire history learning how to finish fights, he murmured to himself, especially when that someone is human. Meanwhile, in the Vecrid High Council chamber, Supreme Leader Vox faced angry questions from his subordinates. "How could the humans possess such technology?" demanded one council member. "The Nova system negates our military advantage completely." "And these rebellions," hissed another. 12 worlds in open revolt, all coordinated with the human attack. Vox's mandibles clicked slowly. "We severely misjudge this species. They are not merely dangerous, they are lethal. Not because of their weapons, but because of their minds." "What do you mean?" asked the youngest council member. "The humans fought in a way no other species would consider," Vox explained. "They did not seek to destroy our ships, but to disable them. They did not aim to kill our warriors, but to neutralize them. They showed restraint in victory, something the Vecrid have never done." "Weakness," sneered one of the older council members. "No," Vox replied sharply. "The ultimate strength. They could have destroyed us, but chose not to. That is not a species driven by primitive aggression, as we believed. That is a species that has moved beyond it." While 1 month after the Corvus attack, representatives from 27 species gathered in the newly built Galactic Council chamber on a neutral space station. The Grand Room had been designed with sections for each major species, with Earth given a prominent position despite being the newest member. Ambassador Do-hyun stood at the center of the chamber, his scarred face now a symbol recognized across the galaxy. Beside him, Admiral Sunwoo and Lieutenant Jiho wore formal Earth uniforms with simple decorations. "The treaty between Earth and the Vecrid Imperium has been finalized," Do-hyun announced. "After 12,000 cycles of expansion, the Vecrid have agreed to recognize the independence of 17 formerly subjugated worlds." Mediator Clocks, who had survived the original Vecrid attack on the Council, floated forward. "This marks a historic shift in galactic politics. The Council extends its deepest gratitude to humanity for catalyzing this change." From their section, the Vecrid delegation sat in rigid silence. Their new representative, Ambassador Zex, was younger than Rax had been, with fewer battle markings on his carapace. "The Vecrid Imperium acknowledges the new balance of power," Zex said, his mandibles moving stiffly. "We look forward to a more cooperative relationship with other species." What he did not say was that High Commander Rax and 3 members of the Vecrid High Council had been executed for their failure. The Vecrid did not tolerate defeat, especially such a public one. The Zentari representative, a tall being with translucent skin that revealed a complex network of luminous organs, moved to the center of the chamber. My people were among the first conquered by the Vekrid 5,000 cycles ago. Today we stand as an independent civilization again. The being turned to face the Earth delegation. Because of humans. Similar statements came from other newly freed species, the Mikari, the Telsons, the Quarry, and more. Each had risen up during the coordinated rebellion, throwing off centuries or millennia of Vekrid control. After the formal session concluded, Jiho found himself approached by several alien representatives in the reception area. "Lieutenant," said a Telson, its four eyes blinking in their species' version of a smile, "we have been studying human history since your victory at Corvus. It is fascinating and terrifying," added a Mikari diplomat. "No other known species has survived so many self-inflicted near-extinction events." Jiho smiled politely. "We are a contradictory species, capable of great violence but also great compassion. That is what the Vekrid failed to understand," the Telson observed. "They saw your wars and weapons and thought you primitive. They did not see that each conflict made you stronger, more innovative, more determined. The Vekrid evolved as hive predators," the Mikari explained. "Cooperation within the group, aggression toward all outsiders. Their society has barely changed in 20,000 years. While humans," Jiho said, "have never stopped changing." Across the room, Admiral Sun Wu was engaged in a more serious conversation with the Zentari Prime Minister. "The Vekrid will not forget this humiliation," the alien warned, its skin flashing with concerned colors. "They have merely retreated to reconsider their approach." Sun Wu nodded. "We expect that. Humans have a long history of defeated powers, rebuilding and seeking revenge. Yet you still offered them peace terms rather than annihilation," the Zentari noted, "when you had the upper hand. Total victory often plants the seeds of future conflicts," Sun Wu replied. "We have learned that sometimes the strongest position comes from showing restraint." Meanwhile, Ambassador Dohyun stood with mediator Clocks, watching the various species interact. "The galaxy is changing," Clocks observed, its gelatinous body rippling. "For 12,000 cycles, the Vekrid were the dominant power. Now, within a few months, that dominance has ended. Power structures always appear permanent until they collapse," Dohyun said. "Humans have seen many empires rise and fall on our single world. What happens next depends greatly on your species," Clocks continued. "You have demonstrated military capabilities that concern many council members." Dohyun smiled slightly. "You wonder if we plan to replace the Vekrid as the galaxy's conquerors." "The thought has been expressed," Clocks admitted. "Earth has no imperial ambitions," Dohyun assured the mediator. "We fought because we were attacked. We helped others gain freedom, because it served both justice and our strategic interests." "Noble sentiments," came a voice from behind them. Ambassador Zex of the Vekrid approached, his movements careful and controlled. "But history suggests that power, once acquired, is rarely relinquished voluntarily." Dohyun turned to face them. "Vekrid, your people misjudged humans once, Ambassador. I would advise against making the same mistake twice." Later, aboard the Earthship returning home, Jiho sat with Admiral Sun Wu in the observation lounge. Through the large window, they could see the stars and the distant glow of the Milky Way's core. "Do you think it will last?" Jiho asked. "The peace, I mean." Sun Wu considered for a moment. "Nothing lasts forever, Lieutenant. But we have created something significant, a more balanced galaxy, where no single power can dominate all others." "The Vekrid still hate us," Jiho noted. "Of course they do," Sun Wu agreed. "We destroyed their myth of invincibility, but hatred can evolve into respect given time." President Yoonji joined them, having attended the council session remotely. "The treaty has been formally ratified. Earth is now officially recognized as a major galactic power. Not bad for a species that only developed faster than light travel 300 years ago," Jiho remarked with a smile. The Galactic Council has also approved our proposal for the Mutual Defense Alliance, Yunji added. 17 species have already signed on, with more expressing interest. Sun Wu nodded appreciatively. So rather than standing alone against future Vekrid aggression, we will have allies. Precisely, the president confirmed. Each civilization brings different strengths, different technologies, different perspectives. That is the true human advantage, Jiho realized. Not just our weapons or strategies, but our ability to build connections, to create something greater than ourselves. As their ship accelerated toward Earth, news of the treaty spread across human colonies and settlements. The species that had lived in isolation for most of its history was now a central player in galactic politics. On the distant Vekrid homeworld, the new High Command gathered to discuss their changed position. The humans must eventually be dealt with, one commander insisted. Their very existence threatens our rightful place in the galaxy. Supreme Leader Vox, who had replaced the executed council members, raised a claw for silence. The humans possess technologies we do not understand and allies we cannot easily defeat. More importantly, they think in ways we do not. What do you propose? Asked another commander. We will watch, we will learn, we will adapt, Vox declared. For the first time in 12,000 cycles, the Vekrid Imperium has encountered a species that thinks beyond simple conquest. We must understand them before we can defeat them. Unknown to the Vekrid, their conversation was being monitored by Ghost Squadron sensors, with Commander Yu Jin listening from her neural immersion tank. They still think in terms of eventual victory or defeat, she reported to Earth Command. They do not yet understand that humans do not seek to win in the traditional sense. What do we seek, Commander? Asked General Taewan from Earth. Yujin smiled within her suspension fluid. To change the game entirely. The Vekrid think in terms of dominance hierarchies. Who is above whom? Humans understand that true strength comes from cooperation, innovation, and diversity. As the data streamed back to Earth, scientists and military strategists continued developing new technologies and approaches. The Nova system was being refined. The neural interfaces were becoming more sophisticated. Earth's defensive capabilities grew daily, not because humans wanted another war, but because they had learned through their long, violent history that peace came from strength and readiness. The Vekrid made one fundamental mistake, Ambassador, Do-hyun told the United Earth Council upon his return. They saw our capacity for violence and thought it made us dangerous. They were right, but not in the way they imagined. He looked around at the assembled human leaders, his expression solemn, but proud. What makes humans lethal is not our weapons or even our determination. It is our ability to learn, to change, to take the very things that nearly destroyed us and transform them into tools for survival. The Vekrid declared war on a species that has been testing itself against the deadliest opponent imaginable for thousands of years. Other humans. Do-hyun smiled slightly. As an ancient human saying goes, congratulations, you only declared war on the most lethal species alive.